Live streaming, whether you're starting off your live streaming career, whether you're doing solo live streaming, or whether you're a church institution or you're an events producer, this live stream is for you. We're going to be talking a lot about live streaming from basics all the way to the pros. Yeah. Yes. No, because serious. My week was going amazingly. Was till today morning. I refused to comment. I plead the fifth. I refused to comment.
Yeah, I saw that. So, we already have people joining in. We have John Wilson, we have Toyota, we have Realty, Flavio. On TikTok, we don't know what people want to join.
Awesome, awesome.
Famox Kenya. And we already have our very first question.
Okay.
And how much is the Canon D500?
Canon D500 Mark II. I don't think there is such a camera. Okay, so to answer that question, I don't think there's such a camera as a Canon D500 Mark II. I know there's a Canon 5D Mark IV or Mark III, but the Mark III was long discontinued. The one that is currently available is the Canon 5D Mark IV, which is readily available at Cameras Africa, and it goes for 360,000 shillings. So D500, you are too sure which one that is, but I know we have 5D Mark IV readily available at 360,000 shillings.
And we also have another question from Instagram, a guy called Axizoni. Do you have the Nikon Z6?
The Nikon Z6 Mark III. We did actually have the Nikon Z6 Mark III. We will be restocking Nikon very soon. The price that the Nikon Z6 Mark III was going for was 303,000 shillings. But if you are okay with getting the Z6 Mark II, it is readily available at 233,000 shillings. The Z6 Mark III is currently out of stock. However, if you need it, and if you need it ASAP, please reach out to us via DM, via WhatsApp, or just call us and we will get right on that.
And it's good to see that people are still using Nikon, and when I say still, it's because we see more people getting towards the other brands.
Yes.
But it's nice to see that people are even inquiring more about the
Nikon cameras.
Lastly, we did a podcast.
Yes, we did.
We did a small segment on our highlight video. And you specifically, you mentioned to us that your very first camera was a Nikon.
Yeah, I
So tell
think.
us more about that, and also moving forward, what camera you're using and what is some of the pros of it.
Okay, so for the guys that haven't watched the podcast, go watch the podcast. It's already been posted. We posted highlights on our Instagram of the podcast itself. In the podcast, it's me, Wilfred, and Cliff, all members of the Cameras Africa content team, and we talked about filmmaking as an art form. Now, in that video, I mentioned that my first camera was the Nikon D3200, and again, I think for a lot of people in the earlier 2010s, during that time, Nikon was just absolutely obliterating the market when it came to like entry-level cameras and everything. Like there were so many bundles, packages. There was Nikon Academy. Like they were pushing a lot. So I think for a lot of entry-level photographers at the time, we all started with Nikon.
Yeah, even for someone like me who's not really into photography, I knew the very first brand that I knew was
Nikon, exactly.
Because we are
Exactly.
machinery, we all know about
Nikon,
And you
exactly.
can also tell us more about some of the features, the new advanced features of Nikon, especially now since they have merged with Red. Maybe you can tell us a bit about it.
Okay, so I don't want to speak on that a lot because I'm also expecting really big things. For the guys that don't know, Nikon, yes, the big Nikon camera company, bought Red Cinema, which is, yes, Red, the guys that make the Red Komodo and the Red Cinema cameras. And recently they patented something called Z Cinema, which, if you guys follow up with our live streams, you know a while back I did mention the whole Nikon and buying Red Cinema. I told you guys, Nikon isn't going to give you Nikon cinema cameras. I think what they're going to do is they're going to learn or borrow from the red cinema color science and instill it into the new Nikon cameras. So I'm thinking, moving on, we're going to be seeing more Nikon Z cameras, especially with the Nikon mirrorless cameras. DSLR Nikon guys, you're not getting it, I won't lie to you. But well, the way Nikon has C-Log, sorry, the way Canon has C-Log, Fuji has F-Log, and Sony has S-Log, I think we're going to finally get a Nikon Z-Log for the Nikon Z cameras based off of the red cinema color science. Because that's something that was patented recently, the Z Cinema series. So I think moving on, if we get like a Z5 Mark II, Z5 Mark III, Z6 Mark IV, I think we're going to be seeing the whole new Z Cinema color science in the cameras that are coming up from Nikon. So keep a keen eye for that. Nikon was slacking, they slowed down a bit, sales were slow a bit, even stocks were minimal. But I promise you guys, they're coming back with a bang this year when it comes to cameras, color science, and the fact that Nikon now owns red cinema. Yes.
So at so just to confirm, you say it's 303,000, and when is it going to be available because you want to buy it?
If you'd like to buy it as soon as possible, what I would highly recommend is you DM us directly or just call our number down that's on our website, 0722 764 900, and we will walk you through the process of getting that camera. So if you need it like ASAP, what you'll do is just reach out to us. We will ask or call up our suppliers to make sure that the Nikon Z6 Mark III is readily available. You will pay a deposit, we will bring in the camera, finalize your deposit, finalize your payment, and your camera will be here in about 2 to 3 weeks.
So we have someone from TikTok who said we sell phones.
No, we do not sell phones.
No, we do not.
I mean, it's in the name, Cameras Africa. Like we get that question a lot. We don't sell phones, nor have we ever sold phones. Exactly. And a lot of gear for phone content, mobile content creators. So yeah, so if you still want to be a mobile content creator, ring lights, microphones, stands, tripods, we have the whole setup. So if you're a mobile content creator, be sure to also check out our website or come by Cameras Africa for a one-on-one consultation.
Yeah, okay. So for those joining us, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. So yeah, so maybe you can just contribute there. If by maybe they have something else to do, they can still go back to YouTube and still catch the live video there. Someone from TikTok said we have the Nikon D800.
Another Nikon question, okay. And to answer your question, no, we do not have the Nikon D800, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but there is no Nikon D800. Nikon D series ended a long time ago. I think before I was born, and the last one was like a D50. So I think it means the Canon 80D or the 800D, both of which are not available. So the alternative that I would offer in lieu of the Nikon D500 is the Canon 90D, readily available at Cameras Africa, going for 150,000 shillings. So that is the readily available alternative that replaces the Nikon D500.
Okay. So now let's start on today's topic. We're talking about
live streaming.
Live
streaming. Yes, we are.
So
Yeah.
for you,
Yes.
where would you categorize yourself?
Pro.
Oh, okay. So
Pro.
that means you're the fit man to talk to us about.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. A lot of times when customers come in looking to get into live streaming, even the guys here, they will ask me or consult me when it comes to live streaming. And that is because, okay, when I was in ADMI, for the guys who don't know, and again, shout out to ADMI, I always shout you guys out, you better start giving me referral whatevers. But yeah, shout out to ADMI. The thing that's I like most about live streaming is it's number one, not scripted, unless you like do a pre-recording. But I love the pressure of live streaming. It's fun setting up a live stream. It's fun troubleshooting all the nitty-gritty aspects of live streaming, and live streaming is fun. IRL content like this one-on-one content interaction is fun. It takes a lot to set up a live stream, and a lot of us set up a live stream, but it is one of the most fun, most interactive forms of media content consumption that I think a lot of people should take a lot more seriously. So yeah, we're going to be talking a lot about live streaming, from the basics like entry level stuff all the way up to the pro level stuff that like is used by event companies, by wedding photographers, and a whole lot of other people. Yeah, so yeah.
So, as we go on talking about live streaming, of course, we're going to be talking about the equipment that we use, the accessories that are needed,
Yes.
because we do have a lot of people from media houses and churches. They have a lot of equipment, but they do not have the necessary accessories to go with that. We also do have new products.
Yes, yes, we
for
do.
live streaming, like the Yolobox EXTREME.
Yes.
You can put more emphasis on that and get that point.
We do.
And yeah, take it away.
Okay, so yeah, live streaming. Where do I start? Live streaming is what do I even start? Yeah, live. What is live streaming? I mean, live streaming is simply the act of broadcasting audio and video content in real time over the internet. And to do it effectively, you need solid gear to manage inputs, quality, and reliability. So, to put a simple cap on it, live streaming is what we are doing right now with you. We are live streaming real-time content in the act of broadcasting audio and video content in real time over the internet. So, no pre-recording, no scripting. This is me and you live and unfiltered. So that is live streaming. It's a one-on-one live broadcast. Yeah. Yes.
Music, and as I like extremely how much side. Maybe you can tell him you can stay to the end. Be careful so that you can tell him. Someone else is asking, do we hire?
No, we do not hire. That's why Faris Kenya Films and Grips and Lightning is there. He does hire his gear out. So if you're looking to hire out any equipment, please reach out to Faris. You can find him on Google. Literally just type in Faris Camera Rental. It will bring up Kenya Films and Grips and Lighting, and that's where you can rent out your gear from. And to the person that's asked the price for the Yolobox Extreme, please stay tuned and stay with us up until the end of the live stream, where we will be talking about the Yolobox Extreme, the Yolobox Pro, and the Yolobox Ultra. And I will be stating the prices of those items during that time. So to avoid like distractions and then last minute price checks and everything, for today, I will kindly request that you guys stay with us all the way until the live. Ask as many questions as you can. But for the pricing for like specific items like the Yolobox Extreme, Ultra, and Pro, and stuff like that, please hold on, stay with us. We will answer the pricing question when we get to the item itself.
Same person, Steve, anasema, I've got a few things from you guys, na nimefurahia sana with the kids. And then on Instagram,
Yes.
someone, Alex, pia anauliza how much they are 5 months. And also, I saw a comment earlier on, and anauliza, is the 250D a good camera for us?
Okay, that's actually something that we'll cover later on in the live stream. And I will discuss a little bit about the cameras and the whole camera setup for live streaming. It is something we're going to cover in a few. But to answer your question, the long and short, the 250D can do live streaming, but there are a lot of setbacks, or let me say there are a lot of aspects of the 250D that don't make it the ideal camera for live streaming, and I will explain why in a few minutes. Now that is not to say that you can't live stream with the 250D. You can live stream, and I'll show you how to live stream with the 250D. But if you're going to do live streaming, and this is something I'm going to be talking about later, get a camcorder, or at least get a camera that you can power via Type-C directly. So we're going to be talking about that in a few, but for now, to answer your question, yes, you can live stream with the 250D. It's a good camera, not meant for live streaming necessarily, but it will do the job. So with that being said, let's get right into today's topic. So, live streaming, real-time broadcasting of audio and video over the internet to a live audience. And well, the question is this: where do you begin? So for a lot of people, when you're getting into live streaming, you've gotten your first camera, your second camera, your third camera, and you want to get into live streaming. Let's say you want to do solo streaming as a content creator, and you want to figure out where to start. Now, if you have a camera, say for example, like the Sony a7 IV, Canon 250D, Canon XA60, and the like, you have a huge advantage when it comes to modern mirrorless cameras, because for a lot of them, the moment you pull the USB out of your camera into your PC and into a software called OBS, for the guys that are not familiar with OBS, this is called Open Broadcasting Software. It's a free software that basically takes video or a video capture card or an audio capture card and allows you to live stream on multiple platforms online. But that's when you're using either a laptop or a PC. So bare bottoms, like the bare minimum when it comes to live streaming, is having a modern, a lot of the times mirrorless camera with a type C output that allows for data output as well as charging inputs. Let me explain. So when you have a camera such as the such as the Sony a7 IV, or a camera like the Sony ZV-E10, when you connect these type of cameras to your PC or your laptop via USB, you can actually go live just like that. And that's basically whereby when you connect it via USB from this camera into your PC, when you get into OBS, the camera will be recognized as a USB video capture or as a USB camera as a whole. So that is bare bottom, like basic live streaming. Your camera, a modern camera that is, with a USB-C output that allows for data output onto a PC or a laptop and into OBS. Now this is simple, it's easy to do, but it also has its limitations because most USB cables don't go past a meter. So if you're doing solo streaming in the comfort of your home, and it's just a simple setup, camera, USB cable, and OBS is all you need to start live streaming. But then now we get into whereby you need a little bit of extra gear. So let's say you have an older camera like an 80D, a 90D, or a 5D Mark IV, or other such type of cameras that are a bit more old school, and the USB output does not support live streaming. Yes, Louis?
Yeah, just to maybe like put on cancellation. Just click.
Sir? Okay.
And meanwhile,
Mm-hmm.
we do have a few questions coming in.
Mm-hmm.
This guy called Steve.
Yes.
Usually, did you guys bring in the RS4 Mini?
The RS4 Mini is not here with us yet. We were expecting it at the beginning of April. It is still the beginning of April. So the Canon R8 body only is not currently available. We don't actually have any R8 bodies in stock, and that is because right now we do actually have a really cool offer running, that was running actually in support of the rally and also in collaboration with Canon. That offer is actually ending today, sadly, but for the Canon offer.
No, actually, sorry. I need to join it. It has been extended to 30th.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so awesome, guys. So I hope you guys had that at home. the Canon offer that was running, that has been running since the rally, has been extended all the way to the 30th of April, meaning that you can now get a Canon EOS R8 at 143,000 shillings, 220 bob. Let me repeat. Canon EOS R8 currently on offer at 143,000 shillings, available on offer until the 30th of April. So be sure to come by and get your Canon EOS R8 as soon as possible, while stocks last and while the offer lasts. Okay? Any other question from Shanga? Any other question from our viewers? No? Awesome. Okay, so now we move on to a capture card. So what is a capture card? The long and short of a capture card is simple. A capture card is basically a small device. Let me just open one and show you guys right now. One second, guys, bear with me. And there we have it. So this is a capture card. More specifically, this is the AV Matrix HDMI video capture card. We do actually have a cheaper version as well, which is this one right here. Okay, so to do it, so the first thing we're talking about is a video capture card. So I have two examples that I'm going to show you guys now. This is the first one right here. This is a HDMI video capture card with loop out. I'll explain what that means. And this is also a HDMI video capture card, but this one does not have a loop out. Now the key difference between these two, number one being price and number two being quality and durability. This is where a lot of people make a mistake. Now, yes, we do sell these video capture cards and they're actually available at 4,500, but we have thoroughly vetted these capture cards because there are a lot of generic capture cards in the market, and the reasons why we've settled for these ones being the budget-friendly option is because these ones have at least durability on their side, and it also has a HDMI loop out, meaning that you can see your video on an external monitor. But in my opinion, I always recommend skipping this one altogether and going straight for the AV Matrix video capture card. This one is significantly more expensive at 18,000 shillings. However, the AV Matrix HDMI video capture card and its brother right here, which is the SDI version. So if you also have a camera with SDI output, you can get the SDI version of the video capture card. And the reason why I highly recommend the AV Matrix one is number one, build quality and durability. I will say this once, I will say this twice, I will say this a million times. Yes, camera gear can be expensive, but you're not just paying for a brand name, you're paying for durability and you're paying for certainty. Meaning that when you buy something, we don't want you guys to come back after 6 months saying an item is broken or is no longer working. We want to sell you something that actually works, that is durable, that can take abuse and punishment, and that will sustain you and work for you all throughout without any errors. And that's why you get the AV Matrix. So if you're looking to get into a video capture card, or you want to get a video capture card, you can start with the simple basic entry level ones that usually have only one input. So if you get the AV Matrix one, it has one HDMI input, and it goes out of the video capture card via Type-C into your PC, your laptop via USB. So I don't know if I have to explain this to you guys, but when you connect a HDMI cable out of your camera, you cannot connect that into your PC or your laptop, because the HDMI on your PC or your laptop is meant to be an output, not an input. So always remember that it is something we usually have an issue with. It's something that we have a hard time explaining to customers, but guys, please listen and understand. The HDMI port on your laptop is not an input, it is an output for your PC or your laptop. So back to the AV matrix. So let's say you have your camera. So I have my A7 IV here. I have the HDMI cable connected right into the HDMI ports right here, and it comes out of the HDMI port and goes into the video capture card like so. And then it goes from the video capture card via the Type-C cable provided with the video capture card into your PC, and then it is recognized in OBS as a video capture device. So always keep that in mind. That's how a video capture card works. It's meant for one camera, whether it's HDMI or SDI, and it's meant to convert that video signal into a USB signal that can be used on your PC. As of now, no, we don't have payment plans. We don't have Lipa Pole Pole. We usually tell people to reach out to a Aspira. They check your survey, or you give them your details, they check your survey, and as soon as you're approved, they inform us and pay us, and then you work out a payment plan with them and come and pick your items. I hope I've answered that question. For the guys that are wondering, the camera in my hand, this is the Sony A7 IV with a 28 to 70 millimeter kit lens, currently actually on offer at 260,000 shillings. That is Sony A7 IV. So that is the first part of live streaming covered, which is USB directly from your camera into your PC, or the better option, which is HDMI or SDI into a video capture card, and then that goes into your camera. Yes, Louis. How much is a gimbal? Okay, so for the person that just asked, if you're looking for a gimbal, we do have phone gimbals from DJI ranging from 16,000 shillings, currently on offer for April, and we also have camera gimbals starting from 66,000, which is the DJI RS4 gimbal. So if you're interested in either phone gimbals or camera gimbals, both are really available at Cameras Africa. Phone gimbals range from 16,000 onwards, and camera gimbals range from 66,000 shillings onwards. Yes, Louis? Yes. Okay, sorry to say we don't do trade-ins, but there are a few shops in Nairobi that do trade-ins for their cameras. I think ViewTime does trade-ins. I think Robies and Popular Pole also do trade-ins, but we at Cameras Africa do not do trade-ins. However, what I would recommend is, for the person that wants to trade in the camera, avoid trading in, because you will not get the true value of your money, especially if you go to our entity in Nairobi. My alternative or my suggestion would be sell your camera on an online platform such as Gigi or Pigami, whereby you can at least get your money's worth for your camera. Avoid trading and just sell it to someone that genuinely needs it and gets your money's worth. Yes, Will. Mm-hmm. What's up, Yash? What's up, Kush? Kush, what's up, guys? Thank you for joining us, Yash. Thank you for joining us, Kush. Kush, please, no Nikon comments. We haven't talked about Nikon cameras. Yash, thank you for supporting Cameras Africa, and thank you for watching the live stream. So, with that being said, we have captured video capture cards, we've captured USB coming out of your PC, coming out of your camera and going into your PC. So, with that being said, if you want to get a video capture card, they are readily available at Cameras Africa. You can get this small, simple entry level one that goes for 4,500 shillings, or you can get the AV Matrix video capture card that goes for 16,000 shillings, and we have for SDI and for HDMI. All of it
if you guys do not know who he is, he is a very, very talented photographer, and he also participated in our previous competition, and he was one of the winners.
Oh.
If you can say hi, his name is Black Gold Productions.
Okay, so shout out to Black Gold Productions. He's actually one of the winners who took part in our earlier competitions. So for the guys that do wonder whether or not the actual people who win, yes, we do have competitions. We have photography competitions every once in a while. We have videography competitions every once in a while. So be sure to always stay tuned to our social media platforms to get informed about these competitions, and who knows, you might win yourself something interesting. So with that being said, I have covered the basics of live streaming, which involve video capture card. So now we're going to get into the pro level of the live streaming, which means that now we're going to be talking about moving beyond video capture cards. Yes, sir.
Natalia is asking how much is a Canon 250D, and I'm also interested in knowing what she does. Maybe you can ask her what kind of photography she does, because she's the one who wants to move from Nikon to Canon, and she's asking how much is your 250D.
Okay, the Canon EOS 250D is currently available at 72,000 shillings. And just to clarify, Natalia, do you mind reaching out to us via DM so that we can continue this conversation in private, so that we can understand your needs, what you need from your camera, and we can suggest and recommend a camera that will fit your specifications. So,
Okay, hope I'm not butchering your name. Anasema, pardon me, video capture cards and price. How can I ask someone?
sorry?
Yes, maybe you can ask the question if you do not understand it.
He's asking how video capture sound.
I mean, pardon.
Yes?
Use video capture cards and price and how can I ask?
Okay, so to explain, for the people that are
Repeat the question because now.
okay, so let me explain this one more time. When you're using a video capture card, if you're using, say, for example, the basic entry level video capture card, what happens is the sound that you need from your video should already be with your video. So let's say you're using a Sony A7 IV. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to connect your microphone to your camera directly, and then when the video is coming out of the camera via HDMI, the audio and video will come together, and when they come into the video capture card, they will come as a pair. So when you're using a video capture card, the audio should be connected to the camera, so that the video output coming out of the camera already has the audio connected to it. If, however, that is not ideal and you have, say, for example, a mixer that needs to provide external audio, that's where you get a video capture card such as the AV Matrix. The benefit of this being, if you don't want to pair your audio and video together to come in through the HDMI, the AV Matrix gives you the option to put in external audio via an audio input port available on the AV Matrix video capture card. So keep that in mind when you're getting a video capture card. The limitation of video capture cards is that they allow for only one camera input at a time. But that is something that we are going to tackle as soon. Mike inakufa. It's ni mic inakufa, sorry. Okay, so to answer your question, if you get, say, for example, the AV Matrix video capture card in a situation whereby you can't have the audio coming into the camera and you need it to come from an external source, such as an audio mixer, in that case, you use an AV Matrix video capture card that allows you to input audio via a 3.5 millimeter jack port on the video capture card itself. Mizime noises cancelling, huh? Mizime. Okay, so yeah, so to answer your question, that is how you put audio and video into a video capture card. Either have it coming in directly into the camera so that it comes directly from the camera via the HDMI cable when it's both audio and video together, or if it has to come from another external source, then have it going into the AV Matrix audio input for video capture cards. So keep that in mind when you're getting your. The cheaper ones don't have an audio input port, but the Animatrix ones do have an external audio input port for the sound. Sorry about that, we're having a bit of a technical difficulty with our sound. Okay, so just to clarify, is there anyone or any of our viewers who's having a hard time hearing us on any of the platforms, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook? In case there's any platform that you're having a hard time hearing us, please reach out to us or please DM, call, or text and tell us I'm having a hard time hearing you guys on a specific platform.
We do have a question.
You're limited to one camera at a time, whether it's HDMI or SDI. However, when you get into now the larger, more professional, like video switchers such as this, the AV Matrix Shark S6 or the AV Matrix H4, or my personal favorites, the Yolobox Pro, Yolobox Ultra, and the Yolobox Extreme. Now the actual one that we use for our live streams is the Yolobox Yolo Live, and that is an ideal live streaming encoder that allows up to 2 HDMI inputs and is mostly meant for vertical live streaming on platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Well, that is the YOLO Live. Now today we're going to be talking about the more professional side of things with the Yolobox Pro, the Yolobox Ultra, and the YOLO Yolobox Extreme. And the reason why I say this is where things get serious is because take this for example. This is the Yolobox Pro. Now the one thing that you'll notice about these is of course the inputs, and the reason why we're going to be talking about the Yolobox Extreme, Yolobox Pro and the Yolobox Ultra is because when you get to this level of live streaming, you stepped away from using one camera at a time, and you're now switching to using multiple camera setups. So who is this meant for? Basically, if you are a house of worship, if you do events, if you do weddings and you want to do live stream, if you do if you're an institution, if you're a school, if you're any of these places, then this is where multicam live streaming setups come into play. Because when you get something like this, which is the Yolobox Pro, you have up to 1, 2, 3 HDMI inputs. We'll talk about SDI in a few, but we're going to be talking about the one that is most familiar with most people, which is the Yolobox live streaming encoders. Now, when I talk about multicam live streaming, what I basically mean is this. You're using more than one camera, you're using 2, maybe 3, maybe even 4. That's where these live streaming encoders come in. So that's where these live streaming encoders come in. These are multi-cam live streaming encoders that take multiple cameras. In this case, with the Yolobox Pro, up to 3 cameras at a time. You mix between those 3 cameras, you switch between those 3 cameras, and you live stream to multiple platforms at the same time, depending on your needs and specifics. So what does this mean? If you are a house of worship, which is a primary customer for live streaming, if you are someone who does events and events coverage, if you're someone that does weddings, funerals, if you're someone that is working for a government institution, and like even if you're something who does freelance videography, then even someone that does conferences, these international conferences, then live streaming is an essential key part of the production process. And when you use things such as the Yolobox Pro, you have the capability of live streaming, of mixing between multiple cameras. For the Yolobox specifically, HDMI cameras for your live streaming setup. Louis, do you have any questions or any issues? Okay, so back to the live stream. Okay, so we're talking about multicam live streaming. So that's where the Yolobox systems come into play, because when you're using the Yolobox systems, you have multiple HDMI inputs, meaning that you can have 1, 2, 3 cameras inputting into the same live streaming encoder, and then from there you as the end user can switch between those 3 cameras, pick which is the camera that is being viewed, or which is the main camera, and switch between all 3 cameras at the same time, and live stream to multiple platforms at the same time. Now, as you go up the ladder, if you're starting, say for example, the Yolobox Pro, you have its bigger brother, which is this one right here. This is the Yolobox Pro. We've already spoken about this. You can get, let me call it its bigger brother, which is the Yolobox Ultra. Now, the Yolobox Ultra is, in my opinion, the go-to when it comes to live streaming, especially because with the Yolobox Ultra, you have something that has 4 HDMI inputs, and with the Yolobox Ultra, you can actually do 4K video streaming. So let me explain a little bit about the Yolobox Ultra. So with the Yolobox ecosystem, you basically have an all-in-one solution that's an encoder, a recorder, a switcher, and a monitor, all in one single device. They are portable and you can charge them, and the benefit of the Yolobox systems is that all of them are touch screens, or if you don't use the touch screen, you can actually get the Yolo deck like this, and have these as physical buttons that allow you to switch between multiple cameras, add overlays, add custom functions, and a whole lot of other versatilities that the Yolobox offers you. And the reason why a lot of people tend to gravitate between the Yolobox Pro, the Yolobox Ultra, or the Yolobox Extreme is because of a few key points. And that is number one being portability and touchscreen operation. A lot of us don't want to have to carry around a whole laptop or a whole PC setup or a whole video capture card setup in order to do the live streams. Sorry? Sorry, to answer your question, we are yet to reach the AV matrix video switches. Right now we are talking about the Yolobox ones, so by all means, please stay tuned. We will cover the AV matrix video switches in a few minutes, but for now we're going through the Yolobox ecosystem, and then we'll get into the AV matrix video switches. Yes. Okay, we've answered that question before, and the answer that I gave earlier on was technically, or on a technicality, you can have multiple audio inputs coming into the Yolobox Ultra, and that is because the benefit of the Yolobox ecosystem or the Yolobox live streaming encoders is that they allow you to basically not only have an audio input via mic or via line inputs, line input being an audio output that's coming, let's say, from an audio mixer, like those large Yamaha audio mixers, coming out of that and going into this stream over here. Or take for example what we're doing, and we're using the mic port that allows you to connect your wireless laptop microphone into the Yolobox. Or, because again Yolobox gives you all the alternatives, you can actually use the HDMI inputs as audio inputs. And to explain this, there is a feature called audio follow video that the Yolobox encoders have, and what it does is basically you can set it up to say that, let's say for example, camera 1 is one that's closest to the audio mixer, and it's the one that is providing sound, or is one that is getting sound from the actual audio mixer. In that case, what will happen is you'll select camera 1, will tell the Yolobox to do audio follow video, which means that for the audio that you're going to use for that live stream, you're going to use the audio coming from camera 1, camera 2, or camera 3. So that is another huge advantage of the Yolobox ecosystem, is that you have the ability to have the audio input coming in through a specific camera, and then that feed coming into the Yolobox can carry both audio and video. So that is the audio follow video functionality of the Yolobox ecosystem. So with that being said, if you're interested in getting the Yolobox, the benefits of the Yolobox system being it's an all-in-one system that does more or less everything for you. Now, the only drawback that people tend to have is that they have HDMI ports only. However, you can get HDMI to SDI converters, or you can opt for something that a lot of people actually opt for, which is getting this right here. This is a wireless video transmitter. Yes, Clint? Which is a wireless video transmitter. So this is the Holy Land Pyro H. Now this comes into play when, let's say for example, it's a house of worship and you can't run a 100-meter HDMI cable from point A to point B. So that's where these come in, because when you use a wireless video transmitter, what you're doing is basically taking out the aspect of having to run super long cables and having that cable, having that feed come out of the camera, go into the transmitter for the Pyro H, and then that transmitter transmits that video from the transmitter all the way to the receiver, which will now be close by or next to the Yolobox streaming encoder. So that's something to consider when you're setting up your live stream setup. Are you going to be in a position whereby you cannot run cables from point A to point B? And what is the solution to that? A wireless video transmitter. So with that being said, we have covered the basics of live streaming, which is the small, simple, easy to use video capture cards. We've talked about their pros and the cons, basically being cheap, easy to use, not requiring external power, but you can only have it as a singular input source, so that means you can only use it with one camera. We've also talked about the Yolobox live streaming encoders, the Yolobox Pro, the Yolobox Ultra, and the Yolobox Extreme, all available at Cameras Africa. And for the person that was inquiring about the prices, let me just confirm that for you right now. But if you're getting the Yolobox Pro, this actually goes for 123,000. That is for the Yolobox Pro. If you're in the market for the Yolobox Ultra, this Yolobox Ultra retails for 182,000 shillings. And finally, the Yolobox Extreme retails for 219,000 shillings. However, if you're going to get the capture card, we've talked about the generic video capture card, and now finally we come to this right here. This is the AV Matrix Shark S6, and this is what you primarily see in broadcast houses, in TV stations, in houses of worship, and event companies when it comes to live streaming. Now, the key difference or the key point that SDI and HDMI have is that HDMI has signal degradation over 20-meter lengths. Unless you have super high-end cables that allow or that don't allow for signal degradation, in that case opt for SDI, which allows for 1080p video transmission from point A to point B up to 100 meters without signal degradation. So that is where video mixers such as the AV Matrix Shark S6 come into play. This is where now I would primarily say, if you're a broadcast company, if you're a TV station, if you're a house of worship, if you're an events company, and are like, invest in something like either the Yolobox Ultra, Yolobox Pro, or the Shark S6, depending on your needs and your usual setup. The basics of the AV Matrix Shark S6 is that it requires external power. So unlike the Yolobox Pro, the Yolobox Extreme, or the Yolobox Ultra, when you use something like the AV Matrix Shark S6 or the H4, you need to keep in mind that although it has both SDI and HDMI, it does require external power. So always keep that in mind. The Yolobox Pro gives you the versatility and the capability to live stream from anywhere and everywhere because it's portable, it charges, and you can use it directly when it's using power. But if you're using the AV Matrix Shark S6, the AV Matrix H4, or any of these other AV Matrix video switchers, you need to keep in mind that you need to power them directly and you cannot charge them in and have them store power. So always keep that in mind when you're setting up your live streaming setup. If however the AV Matrix is for you and you require a video mixer that you can power directly and that takes in SDI, then get the AV Matrix Shark S6. Yes, Clinton. We had answered this question a little bit earlier, but thank you for joining us and asking the question now. The Sony FX30 currently retails for 233,000 shillings. So if you're looking to get the Sony FX30, it is currently available and it retails for 233,000 shillings. So with that being said, today we've covered a little bit about the basics and the pro levels of the AV Matrix, the Yolobox, and the video capture card scene. We've captured the basics and we talked about the basics of video capture cards, their usability, their pros and cons, and we've also talked about the Yolobox ecosystem, which has the Yolobox Pro, the Yolobox Ultra, and the Yolobox Extreme. We've talked about their pros and cons, and we've mentioned the AV Matrix Shark S6, and we've mentioned its pros and cons. So now the ball gets into your court. If you're live streaming or if you want to offer live streaming as a service, then consider these things when you're investing in your gear. How many cameras am I live streaming with? Am I going to need SDI cables or HDMI cables? Will I need a portable setup that allows me to be able to live stream whenever and wherever, or do I just need a simple live streaming setup that is meant to stay in one place and is not necessarily portable? So take all of these things into consideration when you're investing in live streaming equipment. Which cameras am I using? How will I power these cameras? Which video or live streaming encoder am I using? How will I provide power to these video encoders? And of course, whether or not you're using HDMI or SDI as an output. And finally, we also look at price points, value, and durability. So with that being said, that was the basics to the pros of live streaming. We've mentioned the gear you need, we've mentioned the cameras and the way that they connect to different cameras, we've mentioned video capture cards, their pros and cons, and we mentioned the Yolobox system and the AV Matrix system for live streaming, as well as their pros and cons. So now the ball falls into your court as the viewer. What or which of these live streaming encoders do you think is best for you? Are you a solo streamer that simply requires a video capture card for your singular camera setup? Are you a house of worship that requires a simple portable system that allows you to live stream from anywhere and anywhere? And are you maybe a broadcast station that requires a live streaming setup that requires a manual static setup that you need to set up specifically, power specifically, and be able to take up to multiple cameras at the same time? All of these are things you should consider, but wherever or whichever degree of live streaming you are at, whether it's entry level, basic, whether you're a professional broadcast company, events company, we have you covered from basic, mid-range to professional level. All are readily available at Cameras Africa, and if you have any further questions, any further inquiries, by all means reach out to us, DM us, hit us up, and we will answer any and every question you have regarding live streaming, regarding the gear you need for live streaming, and how to set it up. With that being said, do we have any further questions from you, the viewers? Yeah. So yeah, so I think we've covered all that we were meant to cover today. If you, the viewers at home, have any further questions, again, DM us, reach out to us on any of the social media platforms we're available on: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn. And if you'd like to watch this live stream later on, you can find it on our YouTube page, and you can also find the podcast that we did on filmmaking a few days back, also available on our YouTube channel. So be sure to subscribe and follow us on all social media platforms. And by all means, if you learn something, come by the shop and see for yourself. Yes, Lou.
So we can come, practice first and then
Go from there. So I've also been reminded by Louis that for the people who might not have understood as well, please do come by the shop. We have demo units here. We have the Yolobox demo units, we have camera demo units. We will show you firsthand how to set these up, how to connect them, and how to go live on different platforms. So if you're interested in live streaming, by all means reach out to us at Cameras Africa. We are here to help, and we are here to give you a solution to all of your live streaming needs. With that being said, my name was Victor. This is Cameras Africa. Thank you for your time, and I will see you very soon.